Charreah,
Yes.
battling cancer. We got cheating man.
Yes.
And then we have the loss of a dream job, too.
Yes. Laid
Or
off
not
in
even
a
a...
recession.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we put that all together into how that built you and didn't break you?
Healing is not linear, right? And so
Nope.
there's things that happened to me. I was diagnosed with cancer at 19. I went through the physical chemo and radiation, but the emotional healing I didn't do till I was 30.
Wow.
And so trauma will wait for you. And it'll say, oh, you ready now? Oh, let's unpack some of these things. And so I don't share what the world would call failures to make light of them. I don't wish cancer on anybody, but it definitely was a gift for me because at a young age, I couldn't act like I had forever to live my life. And so I lived my 20s, I worked hard. But the one thing I didn't put in that little list of some of my falls along the way was one of the original traumas, which was growing up without my dad. So I grew up in Atlanta from 5 to 15. My dad lived in LA, moved back to Atlanta in high school. And so literally, I'm in my early 30s. I'm pitching a book deal, and I do a personal development training. Shout out to Momentum Education here in New York, and it changed my life. I did not know I had trust issues. And then I do this training, and I'm like, oh, you out here, the relationships editor at the time at Essence, talking to people about their relationships, and you don't even see this big old boulder on your shoulder from daddy not being there. And so I was in a relationship at the time. My agent was pitching the project. And as I started to heal my abandonment with my dad, I realized how much I never really expected much from men. And so all of a sudden, I'm in this relationship. We've been together. We're talking marriage. Our mamas love each other. And I realized that it's not working. And so literally the same day, my agent got the contract for me to write Boss Bride for my publisher, St. Martin's Press. I broke up. That morning, I got a book deal to write Boss Bride. That evening, I broke up with
No hesitation.
No. And I didn't know. I mean, spiritually, I could feel the untethering. Like, it's, at that time, we've been together for years, so I knew. But in a moment of clarity, we were having issues. We were supposed to meet up and talk about it. He called to cancel. Oh, I can't make it. And I was like, oh, I don't choose this anymore. And it was just like very like, oh, I'm out. Oh, okay. Oh, we're doing this. Oh, we're out. But I could not have had the courage to do that until I healed because my biggest fear had always been heartbreak. So I didn't end up the relationships editor at Essence just because I love talking about relationships. I ended up the relationships editor at Essence because I'd seen my mom go through a divorce, and I'd seen my aunt battle depression after a bad marriage, and I knew love was nothing to play with. So it was from fear I had built a sexy career. And so sometimes for very successful people, what looks like success is their trauma that is driving that train.
Wow,
And so I had to really heal to say, what would it look like if you trusted yourself, if you trusted God, and if you learned to trust men? Mm-hmm. You could have a very much more satisfying experience.
And did it take time for you to still enjoy that ride now that faith was in the driver's seat? Because sometimes you can be addicted to drama in a sense when you're used to it, you know what I mean? Because it can make life more exciting. And sometimes when you're next to God, like, it can feel boring.
And I had surrendered parts of my life. So I talked about that. Me breaking up and getting the contract was in June. This was 2016, 3 years ago. But that March, I had hit a bottom where we weren't getting that many offers for the book. I had been passed over for a promotion I'd earned 2 years before. I'm in this relationship that's increasingly unsatisfying because I'm growing so much and we're not growing together. And so I hit a bottom, and I just remember feeling low and praying. And it was the first time I ever heard God speak, and it was a simple sentence: fast until you hear from me. And I was like, okay, all right, I can do that. And it was the first time I went on a fast, and 8 days later is when my agent first called and said, hey, we got an offer. And then offers started coming in, fast forward to us getting a contract that June.
Wow. Kudos to your obedience. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I appreciate it.
It's hard. I told you grits is the name of biography. I like food.
Right.
But when you get hungry for something else, when food won't, and when you desire a higher experience, it'll change your life.
Out of curiosity,
I didn't plan to tell all this, yes.
What's the most recent message you heard from God?
Oh, girl, you all...
I mean, you got this clear pathway.
I mean, it's clear when you clear. right? So I left Essence in February, 2 days before my birthday.
Cheers to new chapters.
Thank you. And so I've been in this new season of giving myself space to detox off of a 12-year grind in New York in corporate. I started working 4 days after I graduated from Howard in the HU. What's up? It was more of a feeling than a word. So that time I heard.
Yeah.
This last week I felt it. And it was just, a peace, trust that better is here. It was a feeling.
Yeah, I mean, God created all the senses, so
trusting.
it makes sense that sometimes you would feel him, hear him, see him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Keep you on your toes.
Yeah. Just because we're in this spiritual moment and I feel such a assignment to Black women, I don't want to jump past the healing of the daddy pain because I pray. I got my sage. I got friends who have spiritual gifts. And I have a friend who is a dope psychic who I met as a fashion stylist. She came into her gifts, whatever. But I only say that to say, she said something to me, and I only say it in a room like this. She said, Charreah, part of your cancer diagnosis was from you suppressing what you felt about your dad. And so what I want to say to you is that when we don't process what we've been through, it will sit in your body. And so as a survivor, I would just want to say to you, heal whatever hurts you, let it go, do whatever it is you need to do to work through it, because literally if you don't, it's in your body. And imagine if you ate barbecue for 5 years and you never went to the bathroom. That's literally what's inside of us when we don't heal, is we're holding all this, we backed up.
Dis-ease, right?
Dis-ease. And so I don't often tell that story, and no, I do not blame my dad for cancer, and he's cool. We have a great relationship now, but I do want you to know when you hold on, it's stuck in you.
Right. Thank you.
That was heavy. Love y'all.